What is a fact that you thought everybody knew, but apparently you were the only one? You can eat the skin of a kiwi. You zoom in and out by holding control and scrolling your mouse wheel. It is so frustrating watching someone fumble for the zoom controls. But I don't want to be a dick and call out the solution. Just use your mouse wheel. At your local police station has a direct number you can dial. You don't have to call 911 to get to them, and that way you won't hold up people on the line for medical emergencies, or fires or other things that are really time sensitive. Penguins only living in the South Pole while polar bears live in the North Pole. Some people think that polar bears and penguins both interact with one another. LASER is an acronym for light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. I got laughed in my face when I told people that smoking, amongst other harmful things, is very bad for your skin. In a formal meal, where there are multiple forks/utensils on both sides of the plate, they are placed so that you can work from the outside inwards for each course. The other day, I asked my girlfriend why she didn't use Alt-Tab. She just didn't know about it. Her life just got a whole lot easier. You know the 3 dots on a coconut? One of them is fake, and you can stab it with a steak knife, and easily carve out a hole big enough to get a straw through. Oh, and just in case, you don't need to use a lot of force to check. The knife should sink into the fake dot extremely easily, and bounce off the real ones. Do not go all in on stabbing a coconut. There's actually male calico cats. Of course they have a different variation of chromosomes, XXY, instead of XY in most cases, but they do exist. I had one as a kid, and everyone told me it was impossible, haha. You know when there's a Friday the 13th in the calendar, because that particular month starts on a Sunday. If you hold open a door, don't do that by standing in the doorway. Crows chase birds of prey, some small birds will do it too. There are pictures at work of raptors getting mobbed by smaller birds, and I'm always surprised when people are amazed by it. It happens fairly often in my neighborhood. Edit. Also that animals like crows and non-human primates are very intelligent. That I definitely thought was common knowledge. Cyclists shave their legs to make massages more comfortable, and for hygiene purposes in case of an accident. It has nothing to do with aerodynamics. I just yesterday had a close friend of mine, mind you, he's very knowledgeable on computers, be starstruck when I mentioned middle mouse button could be used on Chrome to open stuff in new tabs, or close said tabs. He mostly uses keyboard shortcuts, so he just used Ctrl plus LMB to do the same, which I had no knowledge was a thing. If vaginas don't get loose from having sex, they snap back into place pretty easily. If someone with a vagina felt loose and easy to be in during sex, it meant you were doing a good job, and they were aroused. I knew this, but stole the whole text directly from Google search. *** percentages are reversible ***. So, 16% of 25 is the same thing as 25% of 16, 4. Only one is easier to calculate in your mind than the other. And #X200B. Now, the trick isn't great for numbers, where you can't do either **percentage** in your head, like 17% of 39, or 39% of 17, fuck knows how much that is. 5.5. 6. Around that, pretty good still. When you get added to a Facebook group with thousands of members, there is absolutely no need to make a post thanking everyone for letting you join. The order of the planets: if you press the Windows key and the period key at the same time, it pulls up a whole list of emojis. Schrödinger's cat thought experiment isn't just a cat in a box. There has to be a device that may or may not kill the cat. Edit. Spelling apparently, the difference between your and your. That the idea that you eat X number of spiders every year is complete hogwash, that it is should've, instead of should've. I obviously don't think I'm the only one who knows that, but I'm baffled by how often I read that mistake. Category: useful useless knowledge. Most cars have a little gas pump symbol next to the fuel gauge with a little arrow that shows you on which side of your car the gas cap is, at least in my home country, LMK if you've seen it. Often, when I mention something about the multiple moon landings, manned flights, some people think there was only one landing, and that it was probably fake. I'd come out other people, but the people around me didn't know that the sword in the stone King Arthur pulled out isn't Excalibur, it's Caliburn, and he gets Excalibur later on. Edit. Upon further research, this is only true for some versions of the legend, since there is no official canon of the legend that there is an extra scene at the end of Chamber of Secrets. I like to watch the credits, film school alum, and I liked the little post-credit scene showing Lockhart releasing a new book about his amnesia. But apparently I am the only person that remembers it, because every other month some person posts an "OMG did you know?" post with everyone shitting their pants about it. The sign that say, "slower traffic keep right," is usually in some kind of hieroglyphics to the people I share the road with. The difference between quarantine and medical isolation. I once joked to co-workers, US, age 50, that I speak Esperanto like a native, and was met with silence. Nobody had ever heard of Esperanto. Light years isn't a measurement of time, it's a measurement of length. So many people don't know this, but so many people do, that condoms don't protect against STD as well as people think. Skin-to-skin contact still happens around a condom. Slippage and breakage happen more frequently than you would think. LOL, latex can't protect what it isn't covering. Edit. Also, happy cake day. That you don't freeze in space. The amount of people that think you'll freeze, or even explode in space is crazy. Not medical professionals, but the public, that addiction is a type of mental illness, the drugs or alcohol abuse is a symptom, and that one can be addicted to a variety of unhealthy habits, which are not consumed, or are not drugs, gambling, sex, working out, adrenaline, eating, sugar, etc. It's a medical problem, not a criminal problem. The academic job market for professors has been horrible for decades. It's not a new problem. Just saying, because when I hear people complain about having a PhD and not being able to get a faculty job. WTF, didn't that come up during grad school? Cows can climb up ladders and stairs, but can't climb back down if you're pluralizing a word, such as, for example, sister-in-law. You pluralize the root word, so it would be sisters-in-law. Similarly, if you have two guys named Mr. Johnson, you'd say, the Mrs. Johnson, not the Mr. Johnsons. That a bear served as a private in WW2, and was promoted to corporal by the end for carrying artillery crates to the guns during battle. Literally discovered 11 hours ago, at the age of 43, that some people think a holler is a euphemism, or nickname. It isn't. It's a real geographic feature. It's the land surrounding a body of water flowing out of a cleft, or canyon. Source, I'm in a holler as we speak. Saying I could care less is wrong, it doesn't make any sense. That means you care at least enough to be able to care less than you already do. The correct saying is I couldn't care less, but I haven't heard anyone, besides myself, say it correctly. The difference between map projections. I went to public school in Indiana, and we were taught about the major map projections in the first fucking grade. Also, asterisk, I have seen a globe asterisk. The fact that people on this website routinely act flabbergasted when they learn the Mercator projection does not project size accurately is just mind-blowing. And it was an entire side plot in that stupid West Wing clip. Data is the plural form of datum. You do not have a piece of data, or datas. How to use a turn signal. Okay, I'm gonna be real with you. I've learned more from this thread than I have in my online school class. Apparently why cookie dough is considered unsafe for consumption. People automatically assume that the egg is to blame, but it's not, it's the flour. Birds shit on the grain before it's milled, and then sold off. You really only use flour to cook with it, so by cooking it, you're heat treating it. With cookie dough that hasn't been made with specifically heat treated flour, you're at risk for getting sick.